You've heard this phrase from non-affirming Christians and right-wing politicians. But have you noticed what's missing when they say it? Honesty, fidelity, compassion, justice, kindness. So what do traditional values actually mean? Whose tradition? Which era? Which culture? Which Bible? Which version of Christianity? In today's episode, we break down the myth of traditional values, why it's used as a weapon instead of a virtue, and what real Jesus-shaped values actually look like.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
Well, hello and welcome to the FreedHearts podcast. My name is Robert Cottrell, and I'm here as always with
Susan Cottrell.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, we're so glad to be here.
Yeah, so glad you're here, too. Welcome. Connect with us at freedhearts.org. That's the home of everything we do. You can find it all right there. Beloved, I know you've heard this. We stand for traditional values. Not going to start that way, are we? Non-affirming Christians say this phrase a lot. Right-wing politicians say this phrase a lot, especially lately. It's odd, that when they say this, they seem to be ignoring values like, honesty, fidelity, kindness, etc.
Those are real traditional values.
Yeah, just saying. Yeah. So recently we've been wondering, what does that even mean? Which tradition? Whose tradition? Which era? The church, Christianity has changed a lot over time. So which version, which Bible? Many things that are now considered unquestionable pillars of conservative theology were not even part of the church or church teachings until at least 300, if not many hundred years after Jesus was here.
Yes.
So, this phrase assumes a lot. And you know what they say about assuming? I guess it's good in the body of Christ not to be the ass.
Exactly. In the first several centuries of the early church, ancient Christians were completely opposed to military service, to war and violence. They were pacifists. Also, many sects within the early church, not sects, many sects within the early church.
That's my line. What are you doing?
Supported the teachings and leadership of women.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes, they were appointed as pastors and priests and bishops throughout the ancient church, precisely because of how they understood Jesus and Pentecost. That we were all included, all of us.
Yeah.
So does this challenge the current traditional values that pretend to believe that women have distinct roles within society and in the home, and being church leaders were not among those roles, or even working outside the home?
Yeah. Things like that phrase, trad wives, things like that.
Yes. Yeah. It is dangerous to have a set of traditional values that we're not allowed to question, because this ignores the reality that some really harmful things can be adapted into the Christian faith by one generation and treated as tradition by the next.
Tradition.
And then these...
Tradition.
Exactly. And then these...
If I were a rich man.
You'd have been great in that role.
I know, I would have loved to do that.
Yeah, you'd have loved to do that in your community theater experience. Okay.
Sunrise, sunset. I'm doing the whole soundtrack. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying? It's dangerous to have a set of traditional values.
Yeah,
and this is so important because, again, one generation sets it up, and then the next generation assumes it's tradition.
It's indispensable, right? Like, I don't know. On Christmas, we'd always open our stocking first, and then the presents. And now our kids would have it no other way. And that's how we did it with our parents too. Or some people open their stockings Christmas Eve. And then,
Right.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
And you think, well, that's how everybody does. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. Well, in the faith too, when that happens, then these traditions strongly shape the way that the Bible is interpreted and how the church conducts itself.
Yes.
What's acceptable.
Yes. And we think it's in there. We think it's in there as written. And even if it's as written, that we think that's what it actually meant.
Right.
Through all the translations and interpretations.
Right.
And one of the most stark examples of this is when Western Christianity came to the Americas. It was, 1,500 plus years of fusing Christianity with empires like Rome and Britain, and all the racism and slavery and patriarchy and imperialism were enmeshed into Christianity, into the Christian tradition.
Wow.
And that's why we see so many Christians on the wrong side of history when it comes to things like slavery and violence toward indigenous peoples and women's rights and the civil rights movement. Many Christians were then and are now on the wrong side of history on these issues in the name of upholding traditional values. Why? Because the wrong ideas about these issues had become, quote, values in their traditions.
Wow. Yeah, this kind of Christian tradition is what led Frederick Douglass to say about American Christianity in the late 1800s. He said, "I love the pure, peaceable, and impartial Christianity of Christ. I therefore hate the corrupt, slave-holding, women-whipping, cradle-plundering, partial, and hypocritical Christianity of this land. Indeed, I can see no reason but the most deceitful one for calling the religion of this land Christianity. I look upon it as the climax of all misnomers, the boldest of all frauds, and the grossest of all libels."
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow. That's beautiful.
I mean,
beautifully said.
When did he write that? Last week? I mean, how timely would
Last
that
week,
be?
last year, last month, last.
I mean, how timely is that in describing what's going on right now? You know, this misunderstanding of, quote, traditional values. I mean, it can also be seen in more contemporary issues like abortion. Even several years after Roe v. Wade was enshrined into law, even the most conservative Protestant fundamentalist preachers supported that decision and held that it should be up to a woman to decide what is best for her health care, and that being anti-abortion was a Catholic issue.
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
What? Seriously?
And when did that change?
Yeah. It changed when the moral majority politicized abortion in the 1980s to activate evangelical and fundamentalist Christians as a voting bloc to get Ronald Reagan elected. That's when many Protestants became anti-abortion as well as Catholics were. It was politicized. Abortion as well as LGBTQ became the main issues for the moral majority because they couldn't openly campaign against desegregation, which was one of their deepest grievances.
Wow.
You look up Brown versus Board of Education.
Wow.
Right? So again, racism has been part of Christianity for most of its history and continues today. And people now feel emboldened to say things that were unspeakable before, but have always been in the hearts and policies.
So historically speaking, for many Protestant sects within America, being anti-abortion isn't a traditional value. Actually, it's quite a new value.
Yes.
Again, so which values are really traditional here?
Okay. Immigration is also a good example. It wasn't until both Democrats and Republicans became more hardline toward immigration in the early 1990s that many American Christians became that way as well.
Wow.
They abandoned the long-standing tradition that the church welcomed the stranger and cared for them, regardless of their legal status. They became anti-immigration, and now it's a traditional value.
Right. So, which values are traditional?
Right. So church historian Jaroslav Pelikan put it this way when he said, tradition is the living faith of the dead, and traditionalism is the dead faith of the living.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Tradition is the living faith of the dead, and traditionalism is the dead faith of the living.
Wow.
And both of them are death. Both of them are deadly. So, and also, I was just reading an interview with Stephen Fry, the great voice actor, British, and about Oscar Wilde. And he was saying, Wilde taught us, above all writers and thinkers of his time, to be very wary of such arrogance and stupidity as to believe that our morality is anything other than custom.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
to think that our morality has anything to do with anything beyond what we're used to
Right.
is just stupid, he said. And
I
arrogant.
mean, I think that's why, and I think we'll get to this in a bit, but just, I mean, it's a good place to say that that's why it's never wrong to default in love.
Right.
Yeah, there's that quote that if you have to choose between doing what you think is right and love, choose love because love is always right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's great. So traditionalism is what causes Christians to be on the wrong side of history, clinging to what they think is tradition and demanding that it should never change, rather than embodying the living faith of Christian ancestors, of true Christianity, and doing what is right in the present by championing change that upholds human dignity, flourishing, and rights.
Wow. And tradition is what seems to justify the beliefs and the actions and the policies that are in obvious, really clear contrast to the life and teachings of Jesus.
Yes.
I mean, and that's why we often say that religion, that Christianity has very little to do with Jesus. He's just being used as a mascot.
That's exactly right.
And Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount was confronting this very thing. He walks through every law that had been handed down to his people and says something that I love. Says, you have heard it said, but I tell you.
Yes.
I mean, wow.
Wow.
And still says that, by the way,
Yes.
through the Spirit.
Yes. Who will lead us in all truth.
That's right. He skillfully and wisely pointed out how each of these traditional values had turned into traditionalism and was being used and misused and abused and harming others, and how it didn't live up with the heart of God who gave those traditions to them in the first place.
That's exactly right. And here in the United States alone, there are more than 200 different sects of Christianity, all with their own unique traditional values.
Worldwide, that's thousands, tens of thousands.
Yes. I heard the number at 40,000.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah. And all of these, quote, traditional values shape the way they interpret the Bible and conduct themselves in society. Depending on your Christian tradition, you you may have vastly different values than someone from another Christian tradition. How does that work? We could all do with listening to Jesus say, "You've heard it said, but I tell you," about your own Christian traditions.
Sometimes I wonder about why. And it seems that to me, if you go drive in virtually any neighborhood, any area of any town, any city, in any state of this country alone, anywhere, that's a short way of saying mine was more dramatic. You've got 5, 6, 7 churches every few blocks.
Yeah.
Now, why?
Why? Yeah.
The traditions ranging from no instruments during worship to full out worship to the
this kind of song versus that kind of song,
to the time of day that we meet, to how we dress in church, to the type of
sprinkle or dunk,
the type of baptism, to all these things,
to
all these
whether
things,
women have to wear dresses only,
make them different, and the churches use that to convey a message of, this is the only place that's true. So you have to come here. And by the way, bring your friends. And by the way, bring your checkbook.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What's a checkbook?
And we say all this because we just wish that Christians understood Christian history well enough not to repeat the most horrific mistakes, but embody a beautiful, free, unconditional love faith instead.
Yes. It's like they're just not hearing themselves. They're just not even paying attention.
Yeah, well, there's a lot at risk too, and the church has put a lot of fear that you can't even raise your question or raise your hand and ask a question about any of this, because all of a sudden you're ostracized, you're cast out, and you lose your community, you lose all that kinds of stuff. So,
And as our child Asher said so many years ago, people don't like to change their minds in front of you. And many have, and so it's hard to change your mind and to say, especially to say, I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
That's hard for people. And, when you've been seduced by power and wealth and stoked by fear, it's just too costly to give up your traditions, even though the rest of us see the hypocrisy and the disconnect from Jesus so clearly. And it's been used to justify the most horrific treatment of people. But no matter how you defend it, it's truly indefensible.
Yeah, that's true. If you think back on, and I think, just saying,
I'm eager to hear this.
In addition to these traditions being used to justify the current policies and actions of the church you so desperately want to be part of, because they speak for, quote, speak for a God who you so desperately want to be accepted by. Again, more false teachings there. I think they also are used to mask some deeper issues, again, like racism, like all kinds of things like that maybe you just don't want to admit.
Yes.
Not you, beloved, but they just don't want to admit, And Blaise Pascal said, men never commit evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious convictions.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
That's so great. It's so true. Say that again.
Men never commit evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious convictions.
Jeez whiz, what are we doing here? And the phrase family values gets thrown around like a badge of honor by the religious right and just by religious people. It's plastered across political speeches and church billboards and campaign slogans and people's Facebook posts.
Yeah.
And, just to name this, the way they use family values has nothing to do with actual families and even less to do with values.
Yep. When they talk about traditional family values, what they mean is a rigid cookie cutter picture, one man, one woman, two kids, white picket fence, and absolutely no deviation from that script.
Right, which has nothing to do with tradition or values. It's just a pretense.
Right, and that whole thing.
It's like when you go on Pinterest, if that's a thing still, where you go and you look at this image and then you think your life should look like that. That's exactly what it is.
That's all of social media.
That's all of social media.
Yeah.
And no wonder we're like nuts.
Yeah, but this cookie cutter thing started when? This cookie cutter idea started when?
This whole image was actually a myth created after World War II to get women back out of the workforce. They needed women during World War II to fill the men's jobs while the men were at war. But when they were done needing them, they created this fiction to get them back in the kitchen with their apron on and their string of pearls. And it was branding. They branded this traditional, so-called traditional value family, whatever. And they wield this as a weapon to shame, exclude, and condemn families who don't fit the mold, especially LGBTQ families and those who love and support their children.
Yeah.
So why do we talk about this?
Yeah. We want to shed a light in a dark time.
Yes.
I mean, beloved, remember, even in the deepest dark, the pure, there are rooms now you can go into that are just pure dark. I mean,
I think I would hate that.
Yeah, I mean, no dark. I mean, so even in the
no light.
deepest, I'm sorry, no light. Even in the deepest, darkest place or time, a light still shines. The smallest light can bring great illumination to a dark area, a dark time. And the same is true with all that's going on now.
Just think of turning on your phone when you need to go to the bathroom at night. You've got a little light right there.
I thought we were getting kind of emotional here at the end, but thank you for that.
Okay.
This is why we need a soundtrack so we know what the hell we're supposed to do.
What mood we're supposed to be in.
That's right.
Okay. But I'm going to take over from where you were to say,
Thank you.
To say that you still have the blueprint of God in you. You are still created in God's image, and you still have your fully formed humanity, and you are still a worthy human being.
Always a worthy human
Always.
being.
And press into your own light, your own divinity, and press into community, beloved, because we need that. We need each other.
Yeah.
We need our own light to light our own way.
Yes, yes. I mean, we deconstruct, we speak love to help hold people accountable, to help you stay strong, knowing you are on the right side of history and on the right side of God's heart, and encourage you to continue to shine your beautiful light. Next week, we're going to continue this a little bit by talking about the myth of traditional marriage and of the, quote, perfect family. That should be fun.
That will be fun.
That'll be fun. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
You've been listening to the FreedHearts podcast. We have extensive resources and vibrant, inclusive community for you at freedhearts.org. Please come say hello. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions for the podcast, just email us at podcast@freedhearts.org. Audio engineering is by Luke Johnson. The music is provided by our child, the Grammy-nominated Saint Sinner. You can find out more about him and his music at saintsinnermusic.com. Please share, subscribe, and follow on your favorite platform and support if you can. And thanks for listening.